I'm making this video. I don't know why I'm making this video. It's mostly I've already kind of told my whole private Instagram and whatever this. But I just want to bring up a few things. Number one, I was an athlete. Um, uh, as somebody that struggles right now with an injury, I was a transfer student here. This is my first, my second semester here now because I transferred this year from a school that I was at for 2 years. I played softball there, third base and catcher, and I, not that it was a very great scholarship, a lot of people had it, but that I knew that played there, I still played. I still had to play technically. Technically speaking, I got the scholarship because I am an athlete. If I wasn't an athlete or involved in anything, I would have lost it. So here I am. Anyway, besides playing college ball for 2 years, I have played since I was 12. 12? I don't know. 13? I don't know. Something like that. And I've gone across the ocean to go play in Europe for 2 weeks. I was handpicked out of however many girls were on the team from the U.S., representing the U.S. and student athletes. I've been to invitational camps across the country. I've done a lot. I played at my school as well as being an athlete in other sports. I played a lot of sports. I was a very athletic person. Not until this year, not only transferring here, but I did, technically the school that I had gone to was a Division II, but it was NAIA. I guess it's not like super Division II, but it was still, nonetheless Division II. It's categorized as that. And then I transferred here to a Division III college. I was recruited. Now, in New York, you can't get scholarship for sports at a Division III college, which I understand. I didn't have a problem with that. I was still recruited by the coach to come try out. It was okay, cool, I'll try out. Not only was I here for that, but they also have a great program for my major. I'm an childhood special education major with a concentration in American Sign Language. So it was really great for my education as well. So I got you all on the background, I guess. What I'm here talking about is injury. I have been suffering, doctors have been looking at a injury of mine since probably October, November of 2018. It is February of 2019. Today I just had my follow-up. I just got done with physical therapy over winter break. Second round of it. Fun. And it helped a little bit, I guess. People there were great. I loved them. They were awesome. It wasn't anything that they did wrong, and But anyway, so I have a small tear in my soft tissue of my right shoulder in the joint, like where the ball is, and then I also have permanent damage to my rotator cuff from tendonitis or whatever the fuck they called it. I don't know. Anyway, so I understood that. I've got a really bad hitch. I don't know if you can hear it. You probably can't. I'm recording this on my computer. I have a really small, well, not small, I have a really bad hitch in my shoulder when I throw. And I've had this since high school, and I really never thought anything of it. I was one of those athletes that just kind of played through the pain, took some ibuprofen, and, iced it when I got home, and did all this other crap with the TENS unit and all that shit. And most of the time it worked, and not until probably, I don't want to say tryouts because I made it through tryouts. Not until probably after I got on the team, I was handed the helmet. did it really start hurting. So there was that. Um, it was killing me. It really felt like my arm was gonna fall off, and it was worse than any feeling that I have ever experienced. I had struggled last year, and again once played through it, um, throwing from third base to first base and from behind the plate to second. I later on was just playing third base because I couldn't make the throw. So there was that. And then when I went overseas to Europe to play, it really hurt to just even pick up a ball. I'm not kidding you. Like, just the weight of the ball killed my freaking arm. So yeah. And, it dawned on me when I went in there. I had a whole MRI they put some shit in my arm or my shoulder to make it light up like a Christmas tree, and did an MRI, and that's the results I said came through. I did weeks of physical therapy, did a second round of physical therapy over winter break. It's like 2 months long, so I did that twice a week. And it really didn't, not that it didn't help, but the hitch is still there. My pain is not as frequent, but it's still the same, like, kind of like, okay, this fucking hurts. Like, so there's that. And, I'm mainly making this video to shed light on the fact that athletes, go through mental, struggles, I guess, once they become injured. As somebody that has played college ball, as somebody that has played softball a good amount of their life, it sucks. Because as an athlete that plays one sport majority of their life, granted I played soccer and basketball during high school and softball as well, but I also played softball all year round for travel teams, so there's that at the same time. It's, you go through something mentally that no one else, I don't think, can really relate to. Because, I did a whole research project, 25-page long research paper on this. So, some of the things that athletes go through after injury, after surgery, are depression mainly. They can go through eating disorders, anxiety. They get put on antidepressants. They get put on a whole bunch of medication. Athletes mainly identify, you have an identity as a person. You self-identify as something as a person. You may not subconsciously know it or consciously know it, but you do. And consciously, I knew I identified myself as a softball player. That was my identity, and that's the only thing I identified myself as. And when something like that gets ripped out of your hands, and you wake up, look in the mirror, and you have no idea who you are, it's a problem. It's not even a problem. It's just, it's depressing, because, like, you don't know who you are. Yeah, like, you know who you are. Like, you know your name and where you're from, where you go to school, and, all that fun stuff, like, all your pastimes and crap. But, like, you don't know who you are. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, you look in the mirror, you're like, okay, well, this morning I look like crap, but, this is my name, and this is where I'm from, and I don't really have much else going on. Like, that's it. Like, that's it. Like, my sport was softball, and now I can't even play it. I can't even identify, like, who I am. Like, it's so depressing. And, like, I haven't gone through anything, but I've gone through mental struggles. Like, I was on the phone with my mom. I was like, Mom, I don't know who I am anymore. Like, I don't know how I would identify myself. Like, who am I? I don't know. And it's so frustrating. And I just wanted to kind of bring awareness to it, and I wanted to kind of, I guess kind of get it online, and not that people are gonna look at this video, but like I want people, like, we bring so much attention, and for good reason. I'm not saying it's not for good reason, but we give so much of our attention, in especially like public education systems, in health class, to mentally unstable people, suicidal people, people who are self-harming, and people with eating disorders, and victims of bullying, and all for good reason. I'm not saying it's not a good reason. You should bring awareness to the table for that. But what I'm also saying, why don't we, like, not that athletes are somebody that you look up to or anything in high school, like some of your classmates or whatever, but like those people are relevant. Like, everybody in the community, if you come from a small community like I did, or like everybody that goes to that school, the teachers, everybody knows who they are. People, college professors know who you are if you play a sport. Like, it's real. Like, it's relevant. And like, I think athletes' mental health really should be something that should be looked at, and that should be taught, and that athletes should have to, go through something to, like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you shouldn't do drugs, you shouldn't drink, like, keep your mental health up, don't become suicidal, if you're going through something, talk to somebody, don't bring it on the field, leave it at the door. Like, that's what they say. And you know what? That's so true, because I left everything at the door and put everything on the field. If me and my teammate were beefing, it didn't happen on the field. It happened off the field, and that was it. Like, that's it. And there's some truth to that. But the reason why young athletes get injured at such a young age is because lack of coaching knowledge, lack of practice schedule. And if there is a lack of practice schedule, it's not that you don't have a lot of practices. It's a lack of working out, and it's a lack of keeping your body healthy. It's a lack of rest days, because you need a certain amount of rest days. It's a lack of sleep. It's a lot of things that can contribute to it. But like, I think people should bring attention to this, because there are athletes everywhere, at every college, at every high school. In elementary school, you have those feeder programs into high school. My school, granted it was microscopic, we had Wii Warriors, you know what I mean? That was the little kid basketball program that the little kids participated in. You had running club, like, if they wanted to do cross country in high school, you signed up for that. Like, it's just, and little kids look up to athletes in high school. They look up to their older sibling. And somebody that has two younger sisters, like, I felt like I was a bit of a role model. Like, I feel like I was a bit of a role model for, my younger sister, who's now playing Division II soccer. Like, I felt like I was a bit of a role model in that. I feel like I'm a bit of a role model for my 14-year-old sister, who is, playing hockey and has a passion for basketball. Like, it's just about, like, bringing awareness, mental health awareness for athletes to the table. And I feel like they're just so overlooked. I feel like it's just really overlooked, and I'm speaking upon it because it really frustrates me as somebody that's going through an injury that probably needs surgery down the line, actually, probably this upcoming May. And and it gets so looked over, because, like, once you're if you're an athlete, you're just like, oh, if she's an athlete, like, or he's an athlete, that's, like, the cool guy, or everybody knows them, or whatever. It's not like that at all. It's, you do it because you love it, and that's it. And if people don't love it, that's not your problem. Like, you shouldn't be penalized for it. And, like, I'm just, like, we just need to bring awareness to it. And I'm going to end it on that topic, because I'm getting really riled up right now. So I guess this is like an info video for anybody that wants to watch this. And you can comment whatever the fuck you want, because I don't care. Comment. I don't give a shit. If you think some of my comments were wrong, tell me. Let's have a discussion over it, please. Alright. Peace, y'all.